Going live. Oh my God. Live. Does that mean it's live? It means it's live. God, what am I doing? I don't even know what I got myself into. Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to talk about Dogma. Well, I mentioned on the last video, I'm getting these spur of the moment things. I've always gotten spur of the moment things. I think it's a good way to come out with the things that are spur of the moment. And because essentially, since we're living in somewhat, if you will, a collective Groundhog's Day, it's important to talk about these things over and over again, because as much as we, let's say myself, feels the need to talk about them or gets the ping to talk about them, it's because we've been talking about these things. Aren't it's funny when we talk to people who say like, oh yeah, hey, there's spiritual this, there's spiritual that, there's other things, there's shamans, there's this, there's that, but then everybody's like, oh yeah, I already know, I already heard all that. Okay, so you already heard all that, but then we're not talking about it. We have to keep revisiting it over and over and over again until, right? So I want to talk about Dogma, because Dogma came up earlier recently, and just as a concept within itself, because it's a question of any time and every time somebody seems to be denying something, like, oh, that can't be true, oh, this is ridiculous, oh, I can't buy that line of BS, or all that, I can't this, that. It's really, why can't you? What is it that's preventing you? And typically what's preventing them is their own or already set belief systems, you know what I mean? Which is fine, like, but they don't realize, like, it's the dogma. That's where the word dogma comes from. It's a set of beliefs that anytime somebody brings something to you that has something to say to the contrary, you can't handle it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't believe that BS because I already know that I know everything there is to know, and therefore that set of information is invalid in my paradigm, right? And so this is where the collective constantly settles itself in to be at, is where we have this concept that we know things. So it's like, Western culture, America, over here, we know all this stuff. We've had all these great revelations in industry and blah 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 blah. Never mind the fact that Egyptians have lived, Romans have lived, there's been the Chinese, there was the Silk Road, there was all the Confucianism and Taoism. Like, nobody, like, everybody's separating themselves as if they're the better one. And everybody acts like they know, but they aren't admitting the simple facts. So it's like, I shared something recently with someone close to me, and it had to do with, the truth and what's the truth, which, again, if you don't understand it, if you get confused with the word, you're lost. When you know it, you know that you don't know, but you know that you understand the word differently. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things we can talk about here. This is why the repetition, we keep repeating. Everybody wonders why we're repeating Groundhog's Day. Why was it? Because you're not paying attention, bro. It's your lesson in life. You're not paying attention. Right? But I shared something recently where it was talking about how, and basically what I got back was, oh, I don't believe that BS, this. And I thought to myself, well, I only shared it because it has history behind it. It has the entire history behind it. But it's BS, right? Because it doesn't fit within the paradigm of what is your current belief system. So we got to realize that, like, as epic and as genius as we think we're all getting, we're not even close to the level of epicness and geniusness that we think we are getting, because most people don't even meditate. Let's put it that way. Most people don't even meditate, sit down, realize that there's way more, right? Because I know people personally who believe that, let's say, perhaps once you pass away, that's it, that's it. There's nothing. It's black. That's it. That's it. There's nothing. So obviously, all this, and what they don't understand is that even within that own belief that they agree with, is that there is something, because they're literally agreeing with the concept of nothingness, but then they're talking about Well, I only believe what my ears, nose, face, eyes can see. And well, this is something, but you believe that we die and we go into nothing. Okay, well, guess what? You just proved polarity. So we live in a polarist, like duality, whatever you want to call it, right? So it's collectively this dogma. Everyone has a dogma, right? Everyone has, it doesn't matter what your belief system is, right? That's why I say shout out when I was 5. I'm shouting out to myself when I was like 5 years. It's like, because as far as I know, I was the only one shouting out to myself. That's 5 years old. I said, what's the difference between, this religion and that? And they said, well, some people believe in Jesus, some people don't, right? Okay, so come on, let's catch up with things here. And typically what happens is dogma. So everybody with their expertise and their this and all their that keep going and going and going, and they're getting lost because they keep trying to figure out what what that thing is. They're not trying to figure out what it means, right? You guys understand? Holy moly! Okay, yep. Slow down. Period. Slow down. You feel it. You feel it. I've been blabbing. You feel it. Excuse my French. Had to get this one out there real quick. There's gonna be a lot more videos like this, hopefully, because for all the repetition and all the Groundhog Day that I see, right, and all the dogma and all the belief and all of this and all of that, it's really there's nobody cutting it right in between, and that's the problem, right? There seems to be censorship in this way, there's censorship in that way, there's fact checking this, there's fact checking that, there's what are you talking about, there's what are he's talking about, there's what. Guess what? No one cares. No one cares. We've already talked about this on the show. I've talked about this a million times. No one cares, but I am a care bear. So I do care, but we don't care because you have to understand the emotional. Oh, I don't know the words right now. It's too funny because it's not a word. Word is English. If you speak English, if you speak Spanish, if you speak anything, it's a different word. So what are you saying? And this is what's missing between all the context. So we have all these laws, we have all this, we have all this, that, we have these contracts. Listen, I'm out, okay? Because you're not listening to my lingity. So until you can even understand my lingity, don't even act like we're on the same lingity, right? And I want to be on the same lingity. And I think we all want to be on the same lingity. Yes, thank you. So what the heck are we doing? Right? That's the hey, no, hey. You got one? You got a better one? No. What the heck are we doing? That's for me. There, to open the door. What you want, Spirit? What you want? Spirit wants to know. People want to know. We think science and spirit is different. It's the same shit. We're just trying to figure it all out. Everybody got to get over their shit. And I got to shut the door. So hold on. Okay, shut. How's it going? It's getting chillier, willier. It's fun being someone who is in the Basilica that there's a lot more I had to say than I had planned on saying. I'm going to give you that hand signals in this one, just so that we can understand each other. Was that a peace sign? Did I just do? That was a peace sign. All right, let's pull some cards. I don't know what you guys are doing. Checking your tarot cards. Or checking this or that. But I love you. It's not how I wanted to come out. But I love you. No, I always do. I don't know. Anyways, everybody's looking for the explanation to understand the thing that has to be understood. And they forgot that they already has been listening. But everybody needs to be educated. Everybody needs to be told how to think, what to think, how to think, when, what, who, what, where, who, what. And one thing and so we're talking about dogma, right? Like, one thing you notice is there's a lot of history buffs out there. And the history buffs are Like some of them, like half, more than half, it's like you don't even know the history. Stop worrying about the Civil War and the World War II, and again, these are important times. We need to know them. Excuse me, I need to catch some air. But for all the history buffs, they don't really even know half the history. Right? Like history is a subject. No wonder it's a subject. I'm just going to pause for that effect right here for anyone who watches my videos, and which seems to be the ones who already know. It's just funny because I said to myself at one point, I was like, I don't want to just lead anybody. I want to lead the lead. I want to lead the leaders because, right, like we're all figuring this stuff out. And that was, an old school thing. Like it's not about leading. There is no hierarchy. We're all equal. But it's like what I tap into, is like more than what most people can understand. And that's what I've experienced my whole life. Like, you know what I mean? So obviously I feel like I'm speaking to others that are already knowing, what I mean? But it's like, and I've always been unite the clans. I've always been united around the concept of unite the clans. There's a reason for that, is because there's too many spiritual leaders already. And I don't mean to say too many, because shout out to literally every single one of us. It's great. Like we need more of us. Minus the half that's been infiltrated, right? Because there's at least half, if not more, and that's what we have to realize, is that the control goes up to very minimal and the spread is large. And so most are the spread, but the control limits. So if you understand the true, you don't need to ask questions. This is the true. Everybody wants to know what. So we're talking about dogma. What's the dogma? Dogma is that you already get it. And you need to stop. You need to stop fighting. And it's not that you need to stop talking about it. Because I say this all the time on my show. This is exactly why I created this show. We all need to start talking, because like we were kids again. When we were babies. Remember? You just blah, 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 blah. And then nobody cared at the playground, the whole playground, whatever. Nobody cared. You just blah, 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 blah as a kid. And you couldn't wait to get far away from your parents, because your parents were all just going to judge you, right? We need to get to that point as people. We all think we're adults because we're controlling shit and we're controlled, but we forgot how to communicate with each other. And so it's like, it's all in the language. Stop caring about the language and just do. That's what happens. When you stop, you say all the language you want, but you know that your truth is connected to the doing of what you do. So you can talk about whatever, but you don't have to ascribe yourself to everything you talk about. This is where the worship in the words comes from with the dogma. Thank you. I don't know what hand signals I'm doing right now. I really, 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 really don't. I'm just doing this for reference. Hold on, we got a pause moment. Trash man's here. Go get it, son. You get the trash. Hey, Nicole. Oh my gosh, I got a comment. I love you, girl. It's the concept of, so this goes back to what I started with. This was, I was talking to somebody close, and it's the concept that there's nothing after the death in this physical, that it's just black. We have to understand that there isn't a there is a created perception between tarot and spiritual this and meditation and this and that, right? Like okay, here, I'm going to break it down one time. I'm going to say it right now. And if you missed this video, too bad. That's why I'm a ninja. No one cares. Right? That's why that's why we haven't figured all this out a lot quicker, is because the ones were not the majority. Anyway, I'm gonna sum this up really quickly. Okay, is that people say all like Western industry, industrial society, right? What I can see, what I can hear, what I can feel, what I can touch, what I can blah 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 blah. Five senses, right? That's all that is reality. It's like old school gramps or grandmas or old schools, ancestors who don't believe in ghosts, right? Because it's not real. It's what I can see, what I can. They're like, what are you guys talking about? Versus I'm gonna switch it quick. Monks that are right now, and I say monks, shamans, druids. I don't even want to go into the name. That are right now meditating and experiencing things that Mr. Industrial Western Complex Society America, and I can say this because I'm American, like, no, it's not real. Meanwhile, they're gonna punch a rock or a tree, you know what I mean, and break it with one punch, you know what I mean? But no, it's not what I could see or not what I could do. Okay, so your whole life you never punched trees. How often you punching trees? Never. But can you break a tree with your fist? Yeah. But if you ask a lumberjack, he's gonna say no. You need a chainsaw. Okay, like how simple minded are we actually making ourselves? I can only see it, and I go to the door, and then like that's way beyond what you think is your genius. What are we talking about? Dogma. All right, let's talk about dogma. Dogma. It's not just religious. It's everything that you believe in. Do you need to bless the food that you're about to eat? Or do you need to bless every single moment of your life and of your existence, and knowing that everything that is being given to you, whether it's food or whether it's anything else, is for your benefit, and that you will use it so that you can create more benefit in the world? We say the world is ready. I don't believe it is. This is my personal. I don't think it's even close. But at the same time, as we always say, it's always connected. So it's right there. This is what people need to understand, because they keep searching and they keep trying to find, and they keep this, but it's not going to end up with the same result as just knowing. Even though it will in the end, later, it takes a lot more time, right? But it's already here, because everyone keeps judging everyone and telling everyone what, right? So it's like I talked about on the last video, where there was this, when I was a teenager, I realized that there's all this external shit that's being put on you all the time. Because even in the simple concept of understanding what someone else is trying to say and talking to somebody else, there is an external pressure or energetic push upon yourself, upon what you're receiving, versus what it was like I said earlier, when you were a kid. When you were a kid, you just had so much energy, right? We talk about this, right? Even in the plain sense, that when we're a kid, we have more energy, and it was back in the good old day, back when we're going, and we feel all this energy, right? And so we blurt it out, and we're blah 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 blah. And we figure it all out. But when we become adults, we become all this receptivity sets in, and it's not like it doesn't set in when you're a kid. I mean, it's always here, it's always there. But the energy, right? We had more of it as kids. You guys know what I'm saying. I'm gonna get lost trying to going to the energy of kids now. What else? Is that it's the dogma of everything that everyone has ever wanted and always wanted to believe is true. It's like this. Here's a good example. I was watching, was it TikTok? It was like a TikTok where it was what's his name? Shout out, what's his name? Ooh, well, I gotta shut down. I remember this. The science guy, not Bill Nye. No, no, the other guy. Oh, I said his name in my head and I can't remember it. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Neil deGrasse, right? Science, quantum physics, whatever guy, right? Okay, now that I remembered that, what was he saying? I don't even remember. Hold on. Move to G. That's too funny. I don't even remember. I wish I could just skip back, like you guys would be able to just like go back 2 seconds and like see what I just said so I can remember. It's just a dog. Oh, it's a separation between science, right, and physicality and dogma and what everyone believes, and the idea that Einstein knew what he was saying, but then Einstein has been completely discredited. Like a lot of people don't read the books, the real books, like of the engineers, of the mathematicians, of the this is like everybody knows about Aristotle, Socrates, and we're all posting memes from them and blah 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 blah. But really, how much did you read? Did you read about his life? Did you read about the history? Did you read about where he came, how his his life was influenced and where he came from and what and how it's just yeah. So this is the thing. We're living in the superficiality versus the truth, and people want to know the truth. And since it's coming, but people can't accept it, so it's coming very slowly. So everybody is yelling and saying, "I want to know the truth. I want to know the truth." And then you're told the truth, but you don't believe it because of your dogma. And so this is why the collective is creating this long strand of explanations. This is why we need it explained to us in these long, drawn, roundabout ways. Because while, like I was saying earlier, right, thank you. Because while there's literally people who are like, if I can't see it, smell it, taste it, then it ain't real. Ghosts don't exist. While there's all of that, there's an entire other area of it. And it's not like it's just some other area because clearly these people who only sees tells me know everything. It's like the spiritual side of it has been around for thousands and thousands of years. You know what I mean? Like, but America, 1776, it's been around 400 years. They know everything, you know. We got to get over the dogma. The first thing that needs to come down as a barrier within everyone needs to be the dogma. It's the dogma. Because what is the dogma? The dogma, in a sense, equates to anything and everything that you think. So it's realizing that we all don't know everything. And whatever I think is a great attribute and assistance and addition to the world. And that's where we need to appreciate everything that everyone has to say. But not start worshiping it. That's the problem. Everybody's worshiping it. Right? As if it's like, oh, you're the only smart one in the whole universe. You're the only one who has ever understood it. And it's because you went to college, even though college didn't exist for the Native Americans. Well, we myrtleized them. Yeah, I know. Truth. You want truth? Yeah, that's what happened. Hey, guys. You forgot about that? Did we forget? Like, I want to talk about Dogma. How many people are just listening to what they want to listen to? And you need to check yourself. I don't even think people who need to check themselves would have listened to my video this long. We're at 25 minutes. All right. I'm going to let this one go for now. I'll see y'all on the flip flop. Love you guys. Much love. Never ending story, never ending conversation, because it goes back to literally the beginning of time itself. How many recreations do we need? Thank you for the ending. Shut up. No more. Shut up. No more. Bye bye.